Barry, go ahead and do it.
Let's talk another 15 minutes about starting.
Sorry, please.
You guys should introduce yourself first.
That's what I was trying to do, but everybody's just goofing around. That's what I was doing.
Okay, I'm Ray.
I enjoy goofing around. That's fine. Go ahead.
I'm Barry.
I'm Luke.
And I'm Luisa.
And we are Beanalog.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We be analog.
Welcome to the podcast. We're on our third episode, and it's been fun recording this because we are getting to know each other and what we like, and we are into synthesizers and more than that, and it's fun. So today is only a few of us here in the studio. We don't have a guest, but we're gonna talk about
Oh, never mind.
What?
we're gonna talk about what's it called? It's because we're gonna talk about some stuff that we have going on, and synthesizers and more analog equipment, and let's do it. You want to start, Barry?
Start with what?
And today we're dragging.
What's on your mind? What's piquing your interest?
Always on my mind is modular. I mean, I've been lately trying to figure out how to use some of the modules that I got and didn't ever really figure out until now.
How long did it took you?
Not that long. I just had to sit down and do it. One of the things I've been working with lately is trying to incorporate VCV rack with the hardware modular more so than I have been. So I've got it now to the point where they're both interchangeable and they all work together. And stuff in the computer can go out to the modular and vice versa. So it all is one big instrument.
So
basically.
it doesn't have any problem with nothing. Everything's just running smoothly.
Yeah, everything runs great, and
cool.
Figuring out how to incorporate external controls like OSC controls from the iPad, MIDI keyboard into the modular and back out into the computer and things like that. So any and all controllers that can be used to generate control voltage for both the real world modulars and the computerized modular, all as one.
So no problems at all. It's
None.
just running smoothly. That's so cool.
Yeah.
It sounds very reliable.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And what's cool is that just yesterday I was using my iPad to both run a version of VCV Rack called Mi Rack and a controller app. Well, it's OSC to control a module made by expert sleepers called Disting EX. And this module can be pretty much anything that they release code for, because it's basically just a DSP module. And it can be an oscillator, it can be a filter, it can be effects, it can be anything you call up on it. It's got quantizers and tuners and all that stuff on it. But the thing is, you interact it through a little tiny screen on the module with 4 knobs. And it's a little hard to use like that. But a user, this guy online, made a custom controller that you can use in OSC Touch, which is an app on the iPad.
OSC Touch.
Yeah, that lets you send messages, control messages from the iPad to whatever you're sending it to.
Yeah.
But it's customized to work with this module, so I can go into the modular through another expert sleepers module called FH2, which is a MIDI interface module. Go into that, and that connects to the disting, and I can pull up any of the algorithms in a graphic environment on my iPad, and I have all the controls for it.
And you still have more what's it called?
Instead of having to go through the little tiny screen and the knobs, I've got everything right here.
That's pretty
So it's got
interesting.
everything from loopers to wave players to all kinds of stuff, but they're all accessible here. As soon as I hit a button on the app, it switches to that algorithm on the module itself. So it's much easier to use than the little tiny screen. So
you
it's
get
cool.
both best of both worlds.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you trying to achieve? Because you've been changing quite a lot lately. Like you've been changing your setup.
I haven't been changing it so much as more as to see what I can do with what I have. Rather than chasing the next new thing that's coming out, I want to better understand and better use what I already have.
Have you like rediscovered things? Like have you gotten excited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the world of sending different rhythms in to control static things. That's super cool. I mean, sending in things like Euclidean rhythms or whatever to control like a low pass gate that's being fed a sample or a pad or whatever, and turning it into something rhythmic, or getting gate signals from a drum pattern instead of using the drum pattern itself, getting the signals of the transients from that pattern and use that as the rhythmic part of something else. That's exciting and that's cool.
Did you already sold your mats? Because what's it called? Was it the MATH?
The maths.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
I
sold
sold
it?
one of my maths. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have another one, but that's
Yeah.
why I sold it, because I had two and I don't use the second one.
Yeah. There's a reel on Instagram that is going around that says, what is it that you have that a small group of people believe it's like necessary, and then it shows something, like a synthesizer, like having two synthesizers. In that case, that would be you with your two mats. Like,
Yeah.
that's so cool. What's it called? So what? Now that you have a flow, because it's already a flow, right?
It's getting there. It's getting there.
there.
Yeah, it's getting there.
What percentage do you think that you're at right now for that?
I'd say 10%.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because
Damn.
at some point I do want to use it for live play.
Yes.
Because right now when I
course.
play live, I just use my easel,
Okay.
my Octatrack. And I'm thinking it would be cool to incorporate all this other stuff that I've learned how to do. But I don't want to lose my voice in the process, because with my easel I have a certain voice that people recognize. But if I try to go too much past that, I don't know if I'm gonna be homogenized into sounding like everything else or not.
Is it
I don't want
like
to do
the
that.
technological aspect of it?
I enjoy the technological aspect,
Okay.
but like with the easel, it's kind of like, when I play it, it's kind of like swimming through water and be able to control the different colors as I'm swimming around me. But when I'm into things that are more technological, I'm using that side of my brain and being less creative with it at that moment. So right now I'm not being as creative as I am on my easel because of that. So if I can get past this hump of making everything work and make it just flow, where I could be swimming through colors with that.
Yeah. That's a lot of work. I mean, mentally, and I mean also like emotionally. Do you get frustrated?
Yeah, but I try not to let it bother. When I start to get frustrated, I realize it's because there's something that I don't understand. And so I have to stop and backtrack and go, why don't I understand this? Figure that out, and then no more frustration.
Justin was talking the other day about like having that goes beyond my brain. What did he say? Brain capacity or something like that. He said something like that, and then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? That sounds so interesting, because I never thought about it that way. Like that's a certain capacity that you have in your brain to understand certain things. But if you go back, and you analyze and you put things into perspective, and you're gonna understand what is it that you're lacking, and maybe you can approach it some other way. But I mean, that's very hard. Very like there's a lot of things that I'm like, oh, what is it? Hold on, let me see. OSC. Hold on.
Everybody's on a different path too, because
Yes.
like, I mean, we all understand things very differently, and we may have benefits to.
Barry is very smart. Very, very smart.
Well, if Justin's like, I don't know what would go over Justin's brain capacity.
Oh,
He's a freaking genius. So
Yes, yeah, I was. But you know what? That also make me understand that everybody understands things differently, and he said it. Like you gotta understand where you at, so you can address it, and then keep going.
You can't be on the highway and look up at the other exit that somebody else is on because you didn't take that exit because everybody's on their own road.
Are you looking into anyone that you like, any artists, or are you still like that? You're like, oh, okay, I really enjoy this. I don't know. Like, are you looking up to somebody right now, or not really? You're just like doing your thing.
I'm just kind of doing my thing right now because for the longest time I was deep in the Buchla world, you know, and my early influences on that side were Alessandro Cortini, Todd Barton, Richard Lanehart, Suzanne Ciani, a bunch of people, Morton Subotnick. But I kind of got to the point where I wasn't feeling my way through the Buchla anymore. Because when I would patch by feel. It's hard to explain. I had gotten beyond the figuring it out part. And I was just kind of feeling like what I felt like it needed. I'd start patching, I'd have a sound, and then I'd kind of, I don't know, just do it without thinking.
I feel like
and I'd have crazy things come out.
I'd really enjoy watching that live personally because you just be figuring it out while you're doing it.
Yeah.
And I think it just would be interesting to hear all the little in-between sounds to start out with. And I'd like there to be some sort of performance like that. I would love to show up for that.
Yeah, that's what I like about modular, is because it's so atomic in the way you put it together. You know, it's not like grabbing a synth or something and pulling up sounds and boom, it's there.
Yeah.
You know, you have to pretty much build it from the ground up as you go. And that's really interesting, and it's fun to do, and when it clicks, it's amazing. But the danger is it doesn't always click. You know, so if you plan to do that at a live performance,
that may still be interesting for a lot of people. Though.
It's kind of like,
I mean, you may not. We always
then
see and hear our own mistakes larger and greater than other people do.
It sounds like audio Jenga.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how like jam sessions work. Like for me, like Barry's on that modular setup, but I would normally go for a keyboard that has lots of presets and things that I can tweak immediately. Like I'm sort of I'm growing out of the beginner kind of professional keyboards and then more into like the pro stuff that I'm kind of getting into. And I find myself much more interested in trying to like become musical with whatever is happening, like so that I can use even sounds that I wouldn't normally use, like just kind of find something and fit into that. We used to do that dance jam thing was really cool, and we haven't done one for a long time. I'd like to talk to Eric about that probably.
Very, what's it called? When did you feel some kind of way from leaving your Buchla? Because I mean, you sold your system already, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know that you're talking about like a warm sound coming out of it, and I do see why it will sound like, you know, it's analog, you know. But like getting to know your tools was important, you know, for you to be able to get there.
Yeah.
Is it the same thing with the new system that you have? I mean, do you have the same? Did you pick something alike, or did you move out of your comfort zone?
I moved out of my comfort zone to a certain extent. Before I sold the Buchla, I was starting to dabble with Eurorack, and I gravitated towards the make noise stuff because it was very influenced by Buchla. And some of the techniques that I developed on my Buchla system, I found translated really well to the make noise system. And so I feel like I kept that flavor there. And in some ways, the make noise system was more organic to me than the Buchla system, because the Buchla system, there are a lot of little things that bothered me, which was the reason I sold it. Big reason I sold it. And the Make Noise, in some ways, was more analog in their approach to certain things, which allowed me to do some things with it that I couldn't do easily on the Buchla. And yeah, over the past few years, I ended up not using the Buchla so much, and I started using the Make Noise more and more and more. And I realized, well, if I sell the Buchla, I can just build my Euro rack a little bigger, which is what I did. Mm-hmm. You know, the danger, though, is that when you start getting so big, you start losing focus. And I started to lose focus, so I thought, okay, this is as far as I'm going with my modular system. So I basically have my Make Noise shared system, which was my original modular system, and then I put together a mutable instrument system, which is more based around digital modules that do a lot of different things. And then I have another case that's sort of a spill case for extra modules that I like and are cool but don't have room for in the others, and that's as far as it's going. Mm-hmm. So
what you got right now on your modules? What is it? What is the you showed us on the last Beanalog you had on our meetup on the you took the one that had like the little joystick. What was
the joystick? Yeah, that was my modular spill case. That's what I call it. Yeah. It's the same case as the Make Noise shared system, but in it I have a couple of Make Noise modules, but I have mostly I have the Make Noise pressure points, which is like a analog keyboard kind of that you can do stuff with. Mm-hmm. And I have that joystick, which is from IntelliGel, which is really cool. I also have the Rainmaker, which is an amazing delay.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, that one's cool.
And I put the Moog Mavis in that case as well. So that case has stuff like that that's not one manufacturer. It's just all the little extra stuff that would be probably pedals or something if they weren't in a case.
Mm-hmm. What's it called? On the Mavis? Is Mavis? That's what it's called? Do you think that they made it too simple? Is it worth the price?
Well, worth the price is debatable.
Okay.
To some people it is, to some people it's not. But when you think of it compared to like older Moog synths from like the 70s that were one oscillator and the filter, and, you know, it's basically that in that little package, you know, and compared to older synths, it's way cheaper.
Okay.
So, I mean, you get the classic Moog filter, you get that oscillator, and if you push the LFO into audio range, it's like having a second oscillator. So, in a way, you can make it like a 2-oscillator Moog synth with that Moog ladder filter.
So you're running it through it, right? Like
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah. I just want to make sure.
I wonder if
you have a similar situation with all the pedals you have.
Yeah.
He has a lot of them.
Yeah, I tend to fall back on ones that just feel right to me.
Yeah. How many do you have?
I have to have like 30 or 40.
Oh my god. Do you have any like doubles?
I think so, yeah, actually. I might I want to make sure I always have a chorus, a reverb, a delay, and a a vibrato pedal.
Yeah. Which one is your favorite manufacturer from your pedals?
Right now, probably TC Electronic is pretty good, pretty solid. It's not like boutique, so it's kind of affordable, and the effects are pretty good.
Do you trade them out or do anything like that, or like just get rid of them pretty quickly, or?
No, I've been using actually weirdly enough, like outside of reverb, I have been using pretty much the same ones that I've gotten on my first weird Craigslist runs. Like I got into them through one of my friends who was kind of like teaching me how to haggle on like Craigslist.
Yeah.
And so I ended up like getting them for like super cheap. Most of them like $20 or something like that. And,
$20?
Yeah, they're cheap. You can get some cheap ones. They have
wow.
Lots of ones on Amazon, and surprisingly, some of the cheaper ones are really interesting because they'll mess up the sound like in a bad or a good way, but that's still good, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just something cool to just change the sound and sort of make it more unique. It's It's like you buy a pack of noodles from the store, and then you add your own stuff to it,
Yeah,
and then
you-
it's like
you add
suddenly it's like
shrimps.
its own unique dish. So,
Is there a pedal that you're like, I gotta sell you?
a
can't
lot of
stand.
them. I kind of like want to get rid of all of them. To be honest,
Just start over.
I want to get rid of all of them and just buy like really nice pedals, like
What?
Walrus Audio, or maybe Strymon, or even what's it called? That other one. Yeah, that one.
When I think about pedals, I kind of like relate them on my head like a modular, you know, like it's its own little thing, you know, that the difference over here is that, you know, like things just get out of control. Well, I don't know. I think both things can get out of control really quick.
Chase Bliss. That was
There's,
the
oh
one I
yeah,
was thinking.
Chase Bliss makes a reverb pedal
Yeah.
that's based on the Lexicon 224, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
it's got faders on the front that you can automate, and the faders are motorized and they move and
It's
stuff.
beautiful. It's a work of
pretty
art.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
But a
expensive?
lot of
I
them,
don't really need that necessarily, but I would honestly much more prefer a multi-effects pedal. But the problem with multi-effects pedals is that like nobody seems to like get the idea that it's not fun to just like have just like 4 buttons and that's it. Like,
well, I have a multi-effects pedal made by Eventide, which is really cool because it's the H9, and yeah, it's got the one big knob on it, and it's got some
Yeah.
little buttons, but it's got Bluetooth built in, and you can connect to it from your iPad or your phone.
doesn't it only do like modulations though, or does it do everything?
Yeah, it does. It does like everything. It's got delays. It's got reverb. It's
Interesting.
got everything, and it's really cool because you have all the controls right there, and it's real time, and it's just, yeah, it's really cool.
So where are the instruments for Android users?
I think the Moog ones, they make them for Android, right?
I think there's like an app for but I mean I don't think we like every time I hear that you guys are doing something with your instruments, you guys have a copy of any of your instrument on your phones or on your laptops
Yeah.
or your what's it called, your iPads. But I don't think it works like that for Android users. I
Yeah.
need to upgrade
I'm
at some
having-
point in life.
I'm sort of having that trouble. Like, I keep using a lot of VSTs, but like
I mean, VSTs are
specifically,
cool.
yeah, they are very cool. And like specifically, I really enjoy the iPad Arturia Moog.
Okay.
I like the sound of it. It has like kind of a weird sound that's like a little more like crispy than
It's an Arturia version of a Moog.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
their version of
But
like
they
the
don't
one
call
they
it
have
like
on
that,
the
right?
PC.
What is the name? Oh,
It's
they call it like that?
The iMini V or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Moog actually makes a version of theirs as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they're
Yeah.
homeboys.
They have their own. Arturia makes one, and then Moog makes one.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they're
Nobody cries about
I
it.
don't hate the Moog one, and there's not really a reason for me to hate it. I just dislike that they sort of they put like the Moger Fogers in there, and like I don't really understand exactly what to do with them because they're kind of like different. So I also sort of wish it was a little more like simplified. Like just give me the Moog and maybe like 2 effects, and that's all. That's it. I don't want any other like stuff in the way because it's just I'm enjoying what's on the screen. But it may be because like mostly I've used it on my phone, so it's probably more crowded.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But-
Probably it's also heavy for, I don't know, probably for the
CPU.
phone. I don't know. I mean,
But-
we have mini computers on our hands.
But I've been looking at the Behringer Poly D like consistently, and I'm always really like interested in the sound that it has.
It's the blue one? No. huh?
The no, it's just like it looks like a mini Moog where it racks
okay.
up.
I haven't
It's got
seen
the wood sides.
Hey, did you guys see did you guys catch the commercials for Roland and the new boutique, what's it called?
I don't think so.
It's a new boutique series of the same machines, but you can do it through the computer. It's easier. It's portable.
The
I
computer?
saw it
Are they
for-
VSTs? What are they?
No,
No, the new Iras.
Yeah.
The Iris series.
Oh, the little ones, the little mini ones.
Oh yeah, the little ones that are.
Yeah.
like
Yeah, they have the
this
one
big.
that's
They're
the.
super tiny, but
the
they
808,
they
and
do
it
a
has
lot of
909.
stuff. They do
Yeah.
a
I
lot
was
They do a
mad because
lot.
it doesn't have a 707 in it. Like, what's the point of that?
Aye, aye. I mean, if you're on the Go producer, I think that's what's it called? That's
You
I
can
don't
make
know.
party jams with just that.
I dig the
just that
Behringer
first box.
pedals though. On the
Yeah,
Sweet
from what
Water.
I heard on the demos, because I looked at them when they first came out, they sounded really good.
Yeah.
And I know those are using ACB. They're not using the Zen core.
The drum machine has a
And-
303.
Yeah, it sounds really
Yeah,
nice.
see, I think the drum machine one is the best value because you get the drum machine and the 303 in one box. And I mean, when I'm playing with one of my 303 devices, I inevitably want to grab a drum machine and hook it up, but if I'm sitting on the couch with headphones, it's kind of impractical.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if the little Ira thing, you've got the two of them together.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
I'm sort of.
Yes.
I'm a little bit irritated with the trends that Roland is following through because they're basically like using the exact same things they've already made over
Yeah.
and
Ay,
over
pero
and
wait.
over. It's like
yeah,
they're
they've always been doing that ever since the late
Yes.
80s.
they're not doing anything in like the development department
What's
where
up
they
with
have
that,
like
Roland?
really really new fresh like sounds.
Yeah, I've been like that with Roland since like
Yeah.
1990. So
Which is why I have myself. I'm going sort of back down the Roland timeline, and I'm getting into like the lesser known devices,
Stuff.
and the JV80 is freaking cool. I love the sounds that come out of it. Because I saw a rack version on OfferUp, and I was like, yeah, that thing's really like soundtracky and super weird, and I'm pretty sure nobody would use that for
Is
like
that
a modern
like a-
record.
Like a Jupiter remake or?
No, it's like the sequel. It's almost like the not the sequel because the sequel to the D50 sucked, but the sequel to the sequel of the D50 where they fixed some stuff.
the Rumpler boxes.
Yeah. It's kind of like the 80s workstation or the 90s workstation.
okay,
When-
okay.
When
Keyboards.
MIDI was really starting to, people were starting to recognize what you could do with MIDI, where you could have a computer that ran a MIDI sequencer, and you could have racks of synth modules, and run those through the mixer, and just make whole scores with all
Yeah.
these things. That's
Wait,
that's
so you-
basically what they were doing.
So you can do that with the new JV80.
It's
Well,
not new.
No,
Or-
these are older devices.
Yeah.
These are
Okay.
like actual vintage rack modules that you would put in like
Okay.
a system like that, but they're like
Yeah.
synthesizers. As you have like an Ensoniq thing there, it's kind of
Yeah.
similar to that.
Yeah.
I was also looking at the Proteus, which
The
is
EMU
kind of like
version.
responsible.
I seen those, but I always get confused. Like I don't know. When I see things that they confuse me a little bit, it's kind of intimidating to get close to see them.
It's basically just a sound
like,
module in a box, and you
Yeah.
just plug a keyboard in
Yeah.
from the back. Like, I would say it's best for studio stuff. I wouldn't use it for live because you don't really have like patch buttons or anything like
Well,
that.
actually, a lot of touring acts used to use a lot of those
Yeah.
live because they would have their keyboard tech, set up everything so that the patches would be recalled instantly from a master. In fact, that's the way I used to set mine up. That's when I got my D70. That's mainly what I used it for as the master. So I would hit like the name of the song, and it would send MIDI out to everything and change the patch to what it needed for that song.
Oh,
So I
wow.
just hit the one button and everything's ready to go. So a lot of touring acts would have all of the rack units all sent into a mixer going to the front of the house, and everything already set so that they hit a button and it pulls up the correct patch for the tune.
Well, that's the work just for the sound engineer, no? I mean, who takes control on that? Like if
Oh,
you're playing
usually
live,
there would
have
for
somebody
a big
ready.
touring act, they'd have a
Yeah.
keyboard tech that would take care of all that stuff.
Yeah.
somebody.
I wish I had that.
But
But the JV80 is like, it's really rich with like really good like synth string sounds and like kind of jankier drum kits and stuff that are in there. Actually, that was kind of like when they started putting drum kits into stuff, right? Like it's a synthesizer and it's got drum sounds.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, but I was kind of like really interested in the keyboard version, but after doing a little bit of research, it sounds like that keyboard doesn't really hold up very well. So it like breaks down super fast, apparently. Maybe that they were starting to have like some supply issues or something at that time of Roland's history, but that's only just me assuming things. But on the keyboard version, there's like 8 bar sliders, and they modify the sound in like a predictable sort of way.
Okay.
There's no bars on the rack module, which I was like, dang it, I wish it had bars so I could like edit the sounds really quick. But
The first time I considered getting a synth was in '92, and there was this what was it called? Quas-MIDI, some company named
Quasi-MIDI?
Quasi-MIDI,
Yeah.
and they put out this thing called the Revolution.
Yeah, I remember those. It's
309?
The round thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it had a drum machine. It had like a 303.
Yeah.
It was basically like the Roland thing, but in '92, and big as hell, and like kind of hard to get around. I thought.
But instead of that, you got Rebirth, right?
No, instead of that, I bought turntables.
Oh, turntable. Did you ever get Rebirth?
I played with it, and I was just like, oh, it's all right. And then
That was basically what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because Rebirth was really cool. Did you ever play with Rebirth?
No,
it's
no,
like
no.
was-
Reason, but
it was before Reason.
Super basic.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
And-
so
but badass.
it had its software that had an 808, and a 909, and two 303s, and then it had distortion
okay,
and
that's
delay.
cool.
And it was really cool because it's basically what you would want for a setup like that, but it was in software.
And they wouldn't let you do anything else.
That's pretty
And
awesome.
it was
though,
really,
that-
really cool.
I like things that are limited, and nowadays everything is so like expansive to the point where it's just like, this is so irritating. Like I just want to, like, somebody invent something that exists in its own world. Like the Circuit Tracks is a really good example of that, where it is what it is, and it might be limiting for some people.
Whoa.
They have it on the iPad.
Where we.
Is that
You
for
got-
iPad?
Yeah.
So they
Very
have one
909,
for
808,
iPad.
and two 303s. And then I realized now you can do that fairly easily with Behringer.
Oh, okay, that's
true.
cool.
I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
you can easily hook up all this stuff without spending crazy money.
Yeah,
For under
so
$1,000
check
you
out
could do that.
Rebirth. How can they find that?
It's on.
how can
Is it on the
people
App
find it?
Store?
Let me see. It used to be.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, you have
I
it
was
already?
looking
Yeah, I have it.
Oh,
specifically.
that's cool.
I was specifically looking for a 303 or a baseline. Yeah,
Yeah.
a baseline emulator, because I was like, you know what, I can't freaking deal with the sequencer on it. It's like really rough for me. So
I started making music on this, so I started flipping stuff around on this program called Wavepad, and that's how I came up with one of my remixes, the first one I made. But then later on, I used FL Studio,
yeah,
and FL Studio was so heavy on my computer. I had a Dell computer. Oh my god, poor thing. I killed it.
yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't even go. I remember like me loading a drum kick, and my computer just stayed right there frozen.
My computer's been freezing up a lot lately too. I need to like figure that out. Earlier on, you were saying like how to find like ways that you were trying to like find your sound and like remain sounding like yourself. And I just feel like I took this huge long ride up through like cheap synthesizers, and then I'm like back to like analog stuff, and then I'm like, but I need some of like the texture that I'm looking for, and I realize I'm like going back to like Casio keyboard sounds that I think are like really cheap and cheesy, but good on purpose, you know?
They,
And- and
they
my-
stick
durable.
out. They stick out in the mix, I think.
Yeah.
Like
And-
you hear it and you're like, yep.
And they're
like,
That's
durable,
kind of like
too.
the Proteus to me. Like the Proteus sort of has good bad sounds, you know, and they're kind of responsible for like a lot of, I guess, like the old PC games and like Nintendo 64 type stuff. I don't know what sound engine the Nintendo 64 uses, but like I find that kind of stuff very interesting. Like really repetitive sounding string sounds. Like you just hit one and you can kind of hear the repeats a little bit. But if you have the ability to like mess with that repeat, you can get some really interesting like modulation with it, you know?
Sonicware came out with this machine called the Sonicware Sample Track, or Simple Track.
Simple sampler?
And I think it's something alike to the what's it called, the Electron one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it came out, and they have
The synth
those
station?
effects. The Sonicware
Yeah.
from the company Sonicware.
That's cool.
Dr. Jendo.
So is it supposed to be like an electron killer? Or?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to.
I love
be.
that it has straight up like Nintendo buttons on it.
Yeah, they have a really cool sounds too. I just haven't been able to figure out that so much.
That one.
Yes, they're gonna start doing. They're taking in orders, I guess, for the release on December.
Okay.
Is that
So
the
pre-orders.
Is that the one they sent you?
No, that's another one.
But it's one like that.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes. That the Liven. I got that 8-bit.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh, that's the one
yeah.
they sent me.
Have you
yeah.
figured it out?
Some of it is
You
still.
use it all the time for all your stuff?
No.
You're gonna use it on the 11th?
No. For the 11, I'm using only the MIDI clock divider that you guys built. I'm using the Beanalog, and then I'm using. It's because those are the ones that I know the most. My
TRE.
drum
Sometimes the best
machine.
thing to stick with is just the simple stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, for me, like, I'm never going to make music unless I just sit down and actually turn a keyboard on. I need something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it
But
can be
I
overwhelming.
long, for me personally, I long for, like, having the interactability of, like, a vintage analog synthesizer. I was kind of digging into the Prophet Rev 2 a little more because somebody I met has one. And, like, it feels better than other keyboards, certainly. So, like, the Beanalog is something like that.
I really like the Beanalog because to me it's like very like right there in your face, you know? And I can come up with really cool sounds even, I mean, not depending on the presets. You know, like it's just like, you know,
Yeah.
you go at it and you start tweaking it and then you already have something. And
I like the size too. It's like a perfect desktop.
yeah, you know what, and it's durable because we're taking it to the kids.
Yeah.
And the kids play with it, and the kids are kids, and
Do you know if anybody's ever tried to like chemically dye the metal? Because I know you can do that. You
No,
can like
but we've seen-
if you use like a specific chemical dye, it'll like instantly change the color of it permanently
Yeah.
without having to like paint it or anything like
no,
that.
I saw a sticker.
Oh, really?
Sticker, yeah, and I also saw something kind of like a wrap. I don't know what is it called, but I mean, people were making designs and stuff.
That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
and people change the knobs too.
You can
I don't know.
engrave it too, like with
Yeah,
like a
I haven't
you could
tried.
get a
I don't want to
Dremel out,
break it. I don't
put some
want to break
swirls
it.
on it.
Well, I guess I mean even though this I don't know. It's because since we get them out to share, you know, like they're Beanilogs. I mean, I do use them for performances, but they're actually everybody's. You know, like everybody. So I try not to personalize too much.
Yeah,
You know, so I mean.
that's a good idea too.
Yeah. I don't know.
I always think about
that's just
doing it,
me.
and I never do it because
And then what if I want to sell it too? You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
it's gonna lose a little bit of value. But I mean, so far I don't think people had asked me if I want to sell my TR8, and I'm like, no.
But if you personalize it and make it like your thing, and then you use it in live performance, and a lot of people see you and people start following you, then
Yeah.
it'll be worth more.
Oh, okay, that's true. I don't know. I just haven't thought about it. And
so,
then I
so
was
basically, if you perform a lot and create your own self value
Yeah.
with the instruments you already have that you've modified.
they're gonna want my instruments
Yeah.
and not me. Just kidding. I was gonna use the looper. What's it called? I forgot. RC505. And I kind of eliminated that part because I was like, you know what? I wanna have it down very good because it can be confusing. It can be confusing, but that's something very mechanical. It's just
I don't like that
probably-
it has drums in it.
I like the drums. That kind of save you if I mean, at least for me, because
Here's a super weird thing with drums. I recently, like, way back when I was looking for a good drum machine, like back in the day, like I had to sift through all of these like beginner guitar drum machine things. One of them actually turns out to be really cool, which was the Zoom's drum machine, and they have little pads on it, and you can record it.
Okay.
And they actually have some really like good beefy like sounds that would be like perfect for synthwave or something along those lines, or like power rock or whatever. And then you could put effects on them too, or something to make them sound even crazier.
Well, I guess what I'm looking for a kick is that I really like boomy what's it called, open,
Like the 808 sound.
Yes, I like fat kicks. I like but I mean making the mistake of also using fat kicks with what's it called, with big airy
Bass.
synthesizer
Yeah.
sounds.
Yeah.
And I do that with my productions too, and I just don't know how to get away with it. But I mean, I want to get away with it in a way that I can use both, but I don't know if I'm gonna able to find a right what's it called, combination on that. But I'm working on that. I guess
Like
that's
from a live setting, or
I think a lot of my live or a lot of me producing too is kind of very much alike. Yeah, like listening to myself, me recording myself, like that. Investigating my own self, and like trying not to get bored or frustrated too, because like you're looking, you're trying to build your sound, and you don't want to feel that you don't know enough. I mean, at least that's how it works for me. Like like exploring the machines, and then I'm like, oh my god, I discovered this. Oh my god. And you know what, I think that I know the machines that well, but I sometimes I don't think I know them as much as I think I do, especially what's it called, my well, I think the Beanalog, like there's some stuff right there that
it's a good synth to learn on, really.
yeah, like I don't know, well it is, but I mean it's also like when it's going through the different what's it called, when you're changing the the little,
The waveform.
no, the waveform, there's a part on the right hand side on the corner that changes that one.
Oh, this one?
No, the one on top.
Oh.
Yeah, that one.
The delay?
Yeah.
Delay.
So that one, but if you use that one and you use a combination of BCOs, and then you change it a little bit, that changes the sound completely. And I'm like, oh, that's what I discovered a few.
Yeah.
That
I mean, some more unpredictable things will happen, I think, on the Beanalog. I would say
Buy
like,
it. You have money, buy it.
I think the Roland guy is easier, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, it really like, it separates stuff on a little bit of a larger scale.
But nobody likes the Roland guy.
Yeah, it functions amazing though. The function of it is like very Roland, very like categorized and organized in a nice way. And you get 3 stackable synths inside of it, so you could have like a pad sound and a lead sound like combined, and then you can put effects on it and stuff.
For the ones that don't know, that John Luke loves the Roland guy.
It's all right.
No, he loves it.
I only love it
It's his
because it's the
favorite.
only thing I have.
No, he doesn't. He has a lot
Show
of
me your
stuff.
tattoo.
Your Gaia tattoo. But that brings us to kind of an idea of a basic difference between a lot of these synths that we're talking about. We talked about like analog synthesizers, like the Beanalog, analog VA, like the Roland Gaia, and then there's the stuff we're talking about, like the JV80. The difference between those is that JV80 is lots of long samples, and it's basically pulling up presets, and you play it, and you're like, oh, that sound is cool, or no, I don't like that sound. Go to the next one. No, I don't like that. Just keep going through until you find a sound you like. Whereas something like this, where the Beanalog, where you can do that, but you can pull up the sound and go, I don't really like it, but the reason I don't like it is because the filter is doing this thing. I'm going to change it. And you can easily, quickly tweak it. Whereas
And
something
that's
that
my
has lots
favorite.
of sample-based patches, you can do a certain amount of that, but to a certain extent, you're kind of stuck with what you got.
Yeah.
And that always frustrated me because I used a lot of sample-based stuff. I've had Korg Triton, Kurzweil 2500 I had. I still got a Kurzweil 250.
Korg Triton is amazing.
Yeah, Triton is really cool. And it's got a lot of amazing sounds. And yeah, you can do lots of tweaks and customize it a little more, but it still, to me, doesn't feel like I made this sound to sound exactly the way I wanted. Where you can do that more with synthesizers, where the sound is created from the beginning inside the machine, rather than from a sample that someone else did.
And as you grow up, I'm sorry. As you're growing musically, like that's something you'd really want to do, is to just create your own sounds at some point.
Yeah, you want that sound to be yours and yours alone. Yeah. But on the other hand, starting with sample-based sounds from something like that, you can make that your own with your effects chain and with all that kind of stuff that you go external to the synth. And that's really fun and cool to do.
Is it Kronos like a Triton?
Yeah. Kronos is pretty cool too. Actually, I got to try one. And it's got some really spectacular sounds in it. It actually is kind of cool because I usually use the Chrome 88, which is just it's like a baby Kronos, and like hearing the same patches, like there's like patches that are taken from the Kronos and put onto this one. Big difference, like as far as like the dynamics and like the expressiveness of them, just by pressing the keys, like just very like fluid and natural sounding.
I guess at the end of the day, I mean, as a musician, right? Like finding your own sound, seeing what works for you, knowing your tools, not having a nervous breakdown.
Me, I would have a nervous breakdown.
What's it called? But also, I think what's it called? I guess looking into inspiration with other people, because looking for inspiration with other people, because I think that also helps you get to where you want to get. Doesn't matter what machine you have, at the end of the day, I guess that's what matters. Well, I mean, it matters.
It does matter a little bit.
It's kind of like a car thing.
As long as it's not a Roland Gaia.
I'm stuck in this hard place where, like, I know I want something that sounds better than the Gaia, but the way the Gaia functions, it's like, okay, I can get creative with it, Yeah. But if I could just play a Summit or a Prologue, I would be very happy.
The Prologue, that one looks.
It's
I mean, it sounds. I mean, I don't know.
There's a sound about the Beanalog that I kind of don't like.
Yeah.
And the Prologue fixes that.
Okay.
Because it smooths it out just a little more, but it doesn't remove all the cool chaotic elements that the Beanalog has. A lot of people are upset that they got rid of the sequencer, or what is it? Yeah, but I think there's an arpeggiator in it. So I like the Prologue. It's cool.
Well,
I hear the keys feel really good too.
An arpeggiator too.
Which one?
It has a.
Yeah, this one has a lot of stuff in it, which is cool. I think it's worth keeping. Mm-hmm. I think it has a lot.
It's worth for you to have two.
I do wish that they maybe had added like a little more range for like the bass sounds.
Okay.
Like if they had just not made the monologue and combined the monologue with this, so that when you like had like a one singular mono sound, it was like a lot more powerful and beefier.
You have the Electron, the keyboard. Mm-hmm. That one sounds really good too. That one's really cool to play with.
It's all digital.
That's a nightmare.
But it's FM.
Amazing.
The packaging was amazing. Yeah. That is true.
Electron's a nightmare for me.
They're very dedicated.
I do really want to try the.
It's a good company. It's just that we don't.
Model sample.
Well, the way you use their stuff is like different, and if you gel with it,
it's special.
If you gel with it, you can do some amazing things. But if you don't, it can be very frustrating.
Yeah.
Like the machine drum. That's the one that opened my eyes to Electron, because when I got it and realized, like, I got it and I put the same kick drum on all 16 steps, and then did all the, step parameters and everything and changed it, and all of a sudden it became this sequence that's like, oh my gosh, this sounds amazing. Then I was like, oh, I see that. Now I see what Electron does.
Yeah, yeah, I like Electron too. I just wish I understood. Well, maybe like the memorizing part, because it's a lot of in and out menus. Yeah, and that's the same thing the Sonicware is doing, and I'm like, ugh.
Right now, I have an iPad and it's completely empty. If I could put 2 apps, like a synth, a drum machine, whatever, what would you recommend?
Drum machine? Do you like 909s?
Yes.
There's a 909 app that's actually pretty cool. It's pretty flexible. It doesn't sound exactly like a real one. It's a little different, but it can get beefier, kind of nasty. It's by somebody that I do not know. I think they did Synth One. It was the company that did Synth One.
Oh no.
Oh, Spark is cool. I like Spark a lot.
What's Spark?
Spark is Arturia, and
It's a drum machine.
the one on the computer is
It's really cool.
far better.
Spark?
It's supposedly the same thing, but there's like DSP effects that are built into the iSpark, and they're like they kind of screw the sounds up, I think, in my opinion, and they're kind of hard to like. You have to go through every single like instrument individually and turn the effects off, and like it's like, okay, I just want to use it. Give me like the basic samples or whatever. Do you know if there's like a DMX
I don't know.
app?
I
I know
sure
that the
there is.
Arturia has a DMX sample sound, and then there's also something called the Funk Box. It's like really grainy, kind of like lo-fi samples of like Volcas and super vintage drum machines, CR78, etc. And it comes with like, it's like an organ layout like the CR78 has, like where you just press rock and like
Yeah.
you can get some of the
Snake
basic
jazz.
classic ones. So it's kind of cool. It like immediately, if you wanted to do like some indie rock or something like that, you could get started with something like that. But seeing as you may want to do more like the dance music or DJ related stuff,
How dare you put me in a box?
if that's what you want to do, I would recommend the 909 from the Synth One company. Check out Synth One, and it'll lead you to their product
iSpark.
page.
For us beginners, that's what John Luke recommends. We're about to run out of time, guys. We need to, what's it called? Talk about what is it that you guys are working on right now besides what's it called, the big project that you have right now?
You have a big project.
the what's it called, knowing his whole thing, and like connecting through the
He's getting in
Us-
touch with himself.
yeah like that's a big project.
Yeah.
I'd
Huge
like
project.
to put myself into a place where I could just jam out with everybody and make it a project over time, like just continually make music and acquire stuff that will eventually go on to like some recording, like keep playing together to the point where it just sounds right in the room, and then record it. Like that'll be good.
I saw this DJ. I think he's a DJ and he also plays live. But I saw him. His name is David Macer. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but he connects his machines. He has a push, and the push I don't know. Everything comes out through the DJ mixer instead of the. Like, I use a Yamaha mixer for me to play live. Okay, and I mean, that's what people use to, when they're doing their speeches and all that stuff. But I just never thought about connecting myself with a DJ mixer.
Well, some DJ mixers have USB ports where you can connect the computer and you can have the audio of the computer on one of the channels of the DJ mixer.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah,
That's
so-
what he's doing. And I was looking into it and I was like, I don't know if I wanna. I don't know. Like I feel a little uneasy, like doing it like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I could record on Ableton or
But
something like that.
Airship Enoch, he's got one of those. I think it's the Zone 96. And
Yeah.
you can have actually 2 separate USB streams going into it. So it's got 4 channels, and 2 of those channels can be from 2 different computers.
That's
Oh, wow.
interesting. That's kind of like that Roland drum machine that's like only works. I'm sorry, the Roland mixer.
Yeah.
And it like plugs into all the Roland gear, so
Yeah.
it just routes the audio and the MIDI without having to route anything else. Just the USB.
Yeah,
stuff.
but that also just like
It's weird.
enslaves you to like like 'cause you're just using Roland and that's
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
I don't know, Roland. Sometimes you kind of suck.
Hey.
But yeah, what's it called? Your printers are cool. But yeah,
I prefer things that are like kind of overly simplified. Like
Yeah.
a mixer is cool because it's like you can see everything on it. It plugs in there.
well, what I like about the Yamaha that I have is that it has all these EQs, and I have these extra effects, and even if it was just and it's so I'm able to do a lot with it. So I'm able to play live. I'm able to use it for the jam sessions. I'm able to use it for whenever somebody rents sound, and it's very like you can use it individually, which my DJ mixer doesn't have a lot of that stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I'm still debating, like if I want to do it like that, because that will put me in a really weird situation right now.
It also depends if you're Mac or PC.
Oh my God,
Because
no
if you're
way.
doing Mac, it's like probably much more stable. If it's Windows, it's just going to be like, you don't have the right drivers to support this, or it just turns off randomly for no reason. And like,
Well, even to be a DJ with a computer, like it took me a while. It took me a long time. Like, I was like so frustrated. I was like, I don't know how to use this computer, And then I kind of figured it out. So and then everybody kind of like helped me out to put it together. And I guess now I'm able to use it. I took it out to play. I took my controller, and I was able to play flawlessly for 2-3 hours. And I was like,
That's cool.
Lou, that's a good thing, because if it fails,
yeah.
forget about it. You're stuck with the music.
I wish I'd like to do something like that where I could sit down or stand up, probably stand up, for a live show, and have like 4 nice MIDI keyboards that all had their own sounds on them.
You want to be like an octopus?
Yeah, I mean, pretty well. I mean, I always like that. I like that performance element. I like the look of it too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. It's epic.
But like, imagine
Big Yanni fan.
Imagine if it was like all analog gear. That'd be great. But like, I mean, if the Poly D is going to be on there, then it's going to be kind of difficult to mess with the presets. You know what I mean? There's no presets on it. So you kind of, I don't know. I think you'd have to either make the decision to artistically like change the sound of the live performance, or like, because I mean, one instrument needs to be dedicated to something, right? Unless it's gonna be able to be like a bass sound that, like, when you turn the octave up, it's like leads immediately. And then the like, that's why keyboards like the Summit like really pique my interest. Okay, it's a joke, because the Summit is 2 peaks mixed together. Novation Peak is a synthesizer.
I think I played with
It's the Twin Peaks synthesizer.
There's a lot of what's it called? A lot of I guess everything's kind of like all these products are the ones that make it as a popular product, or they make them and nobody really notices them.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of
Well,
stuff
But
that
I can
don't
see,
know.
Right
I could
now-
see myself like
Right
performing
now,
it
we're
too.
kind of in a strange time. It's been happening for the past several years. But like, when you, especially around somewhere like here, when you want to go buy like a synthesizer, a a lot of times you don't have the option to go try it out in person.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing you get is what you read online and the videos you see and all of that. In fact, the last time I bought a real synthesizer in a store and got to try it out before I bought it was sometime in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
So all the stuff I have, I did not get to try out ahead of time.
I remember May Brooks music store that was out in Sunland for a while, like way back. That was the first time I ever played a microKORG, and I was like, I have to have this. And now I'm like, I need to get rid of this.
And it's kind of sad.
It is.
I understand.
It's a product of our world that we live in. Everything.
I understand
is all
why
instant.
it happens, but like when I was a teen, I used to go to the music store, and everybody there knew me. You know, I'd walk through the door. It was just like on Cheers. Hey, Norm. You know, they would see me coming.
They know that I live.
And they
at
knew
Guitar
me,
Center.
and they said, yeah, go spend as much time as you want in the keyboard room. And I'd go in there, and I would spend all Saturday playing with DX7s and,
Oh my God.
and Roland JX10s and
Please.
all the stuff that they had at that
Where
time.
was this?
In Lubbock. They had room full of synths. And that
That's
was
awesome.
back during a time when, for some reason, I don't know what the difference is now, but small
expensive.
music stores were able to have all this stuff on display. And I remember a room full of synths, you know, all the cool Roland stuff, all the Yamaha stuff, everything, even Kurzweil synths when they were coming out, the K2500, the K2000, they had all that stuff. And I could just go synth to synth to synth and play with it and sit there and enjoy it as much as I wanted.
You ever go to Guitar Center?
There wasn't a Guitar Center at that
But
time.
I mean, now.
Yeah.
There's
You ever?
like one or two
Get in there?
cents.
There's like
It's not the same.
There's like two
there's
cents.
nothing. I go into the Guitar Center and I'm like,
Hey, you
What's
can
that?
ask
Walls
them.
are empty.
But you can ask them. You can ask them. I'm gonna tell them because we
I
have
talk
a
to them
friend.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, we have our friends there. So if you wanna check out on something, like just someone's like, hey, I would like to, but I know that it's on the
Yeah.
box. Can you get it out?
yeah.
They'll do it for you.
Yeah, I'm
They're
sure they
nice.
will.
Yeah.
But a lot of times in music stores,
asked
there's
them if I could
nothing.
use the-
There's nothing I really want to try. You know, my tastes tend to be a little on the more
Exotic.
Exotic, yeah.
weird side.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I really don't want to try that mini log because I already did.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure. Yeah.
You know, which is the kind of
Yeah.
thing they usually have there. The only thing they had one time that I wanted to try, and I couldn't for some reason. I think there was something wrong. It was a Mother 32.
Oh,
they had
okay.
one of those there, and I wanted
Yeah.
to check it out, but
They let me try the OB6, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I loved the sound of that. And having done quite a bit of research on it, I was like, it's so cool that this thing's here. But then they wouldn't let me try the MPC. Like,
Yeah.
why?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe because of the pads, you know, because I mean, if you,
I guess.
Well, it's because people when they use the thing, they go like that
Oh.
with their nails. So I mean, it
maybe
does,
they had maybe that was a problem for
Yeah,
them.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is kind of a. I
Well,
don't know.
also, like,
That's what I'm thinking. But what's it called? Danny's
they
music
know me.
box.
They know me.
They know you.
I'm not gonna like cat scratch their
See your
MPC.
nails first,
Is
buddy.
Let's see your nails, buddy.
Yeah.
But Danny's music box has a what's it called? A sale, a guitar sale.
Oh, nice.
Right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the ones that don't know, we're located on the same building as Mr. Danny. He asked for you.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
I used
he's
to
still
work
open.
there.
He's still open. 6030 Montana
6130.
Suite. 6130 Montana Suite 116.
I think those sorts of stores are
El Paso.
so important. Like,
Tejas.
not even just like musically, but like emotionally for people. I think people need a place to connect and understand that like these things are not insurmountable odds. Because most people think like when they have a guitar, their string breaks or something like that. They're like, oh my god, it's over. I can't.
Well,
So, like,
Danny's still working. I mean, Danny is still
having
working.
a technician,
Yeah,
having
he's
people that know how
reliable.
to do that kind of stuff.
Reliable.
Is really
I
great.
used to
For
get
sure.
that feeling from going into a comic book store.
Yeah,
I'd be like, whoa, like there's somebody.
somebody
Just-
who understands.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys about the story in Las Cruces? The one, and they have a little synth room with some Roland stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're called Hubbard, HUBBARDS.
I passed by it.
Music.
actually.
Why you didn't
I
stop?
think they did. I went into White's Music Box and asked them about it, and they're like, "Oh, they sell mostly like drum stuff."
No, do
And
they
I was
have
like, I want to go back and check because I was like, that doesn't sound right. Because from what I heard, it sounded like
They have a little synth room, and you can play with them. I mean, it's mostly Roland stuff, but I mean,
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
A wall full of Gaias.
Oh boy.
That's so funny. But yeah, that's in Las Cruces. It's on Wyatt Drive.
That would be a horrible sound. Just like an orchestra. An orchestra.
Hey, you never
of
know.
guys.
Maybe that's your calling. Do a
Maybe.
Gaia orchestra.
Yeah.
It might be
The most
kind of-
affordable synthesizer. They're actually still pretty expensive.
Yeah.
I
I can
think.
just throw tomatoes at you.
Like
Oh no.
I actually would be totally okay with it if Roland were to make a VST of it, because it's like they can improve a lot of the sounds that are already in there and keep the character of the Gaia and patches and things like that.
But they don't want to do that. They just want
But
to do.
I sort of wish they would keep the form factor of the Gaia and just rehash it into something else. Since they're really great at rehashing everything, why don't they rehash something good? So they should just take the Gaia and put like Roland Juno 60 sounds in it or something. You know what I mean? Like something weird like that. Like you can have all that. It's like the simple version of the Juno X. Let's call it like the Juno Zero or something.
They'll
like
probably put the Gaia in the cloud, Roland Cloud, at some point.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised
I
if
think
they
they hate it. I don't think they like it.
In heaven.
Well, it's another synth
God
they
is
could
in
put in
heaven.
there. So
But like I think the premium upgrade to the Gaia is the Summit to me. I feel like the Summit covers all the sounds that the Gaia would be able to do.
well, the Summit has analog fill. It's analog after the oscillator.
Yeah.
That it's got an analog pad.
So it's kind of has like the same concept where like that can be done. I wonder if it could be used as like a sampler. Is that even
Summit?
possible? The Summit?
Well-
Because the Summit's using digital oscillators.
I don't think it's digital in that sense. I think
Couldn't you
it's
have like
a
an
different
oscillator
kind of-
that's a sample and then do all the other extra stuff?
And that's why it's fun, or gear meetups are fun, because you get to try all of the instruments that we're talking about. Sometimes, I mean, not all the time we have everything out.
The Summit's.
No, but we have some pretty cool instruments out.
Yeah,
so
we have some ERP
if
stuff. We got some.
yeah,
Is there any other independent, like a Guitar Center, but in El Paso? There isn't, huh?
no,
Not
no,
anymore.
Only-
I mean, Hero Music, kind of, but they're like, I've been there. They're like, don't touch anything.
yeah, they don't
like-
let you touch anything, and I don't know. I'm so sorry, but they're
And what
they're a
about
little rude.
Hubbard's or whatever it's called?
Oh, they let you touch anything.
That's in Las Cruces.
That's in Las Cruces.
We should do a Beanalog over there.
We should go.
Like in there.
We should
In
take
there?
Beanalog on the road in a podcast form, and then road trip to synthesizer stores around the country,
That'd be cool.
and then we do it in the synthesizer store, and we pick out which one's the coolest, and we talk
that'd be-
about it.
That'd be
That
cool.
sounds alright.
You know what? That'll be. I don't know. But yeah, that sounds cool.
I'd like to try the Juno X, and
Well-
since it's kind of current right now, I assume at some point it might show up at Guitar Center, but there's no guarantee. Because Guitar Center is Guitar Center, so.
So, Luisa, what do you have going on?
I'm gonna have a show. I'm gonna be playing live on September 11, Nature House, and I'm
Heck
gonna
yeah.
be with other bands. Let me give you the names because I'm pretty bad with names, and I'm so sorry about that. But let me see. Let me give you the names of the bands.
I like the Nature House. That was like one of my first like straight up performances that I had done when they first opened it up, and that was like in 2019 before all the chaos and calamity began.
Yeah, I know. I think.
But now everybody's like rebuilding, and we're all more interested in starting that stuff up. But it's a little hard to find some things. I wish I could perform someplace like Rubik's or like
Well,
something like an arcade or something cool like that, you know?
Well, maybe that's what they're gonna open a new one right here on the east side.
Yeah.
It's open already.
Oh, it's already open. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna be playing.
I
with
say that
Grape,
when I'm like, I
Grape
don't have any
Speak.
prepared material at all.
What's it called?
Grape
You
Speak.
want
and I'm gonna be playing with that Enhendonians, or how do you say that?
Which one?
Enhendonians? Sorry.
Anhedonians.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
that's Sergey.
Yeah.
I bought his guitar like way back.
And MB Alexander, I think that's a band from LA. Yeah. Come out.
You should go see them.
Yeah.
They're all really cool. Luis is cool.
I'm
The
cool.
Anhedonians are
I'm
cool.
cool.
They're kind of like prog rock,
Yeah.
a little bit prog rocky. I haven't heard them for a while, so maybe they have like some new set list stuff that's even cooler. And yeah, it's a cool vibe. It's like a big old house show.
Yeah.
And is it BYOB?
Yes.
Listen, people,
and the
you can
$5
bring your
donation-
own alcohol. Do it.
And the $5 donation goes to the traveling artist. So if anybody comes out, that's gonna go for the traveling artists that need it to be able to do their tour.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. I
That's
like
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah, I like supporting.
What are you doing, Ray? Did we already ask?
No,
Oh, what are you doing, Ray? Come on.
I don't care.
Aye.
No, I'm just
He's been working on Reason.
yeah. What do you call it? I've been working on a like a calendar for myself, actually, just on. I've been not doing projects, but I really want to, and because we have Beanalog here in El Paso, we have Beanalog in Mexico, and I have other like business interests. So I don't know, getting music done has been getting harder and harder. Yeah, so right now I'm working on an EP and like a new moniker called Sludge, and yeah, I'm excited about that. Just gonna be doing some live jam sessions where we're recording and hopefully, I don't know, make a project out of that.
That's cool.
And yeah, I just want to,
Get stuff
I want something like, so I want my reason, because I started, like I built like my own little thing with Reason, and so I have a lot of love for that. But I also like get a whole other side by playing live, and so recording that, and yeah. So for sure, I'm gonna have an EP out within the next 2 months, and who knows, anything above that is icing on the cake for me.
That's really cool.
He's making some merch, so anybody that wants to support that.
Yeah, like basically, like for the EP, I'm giving myself I'm just like trying to write it all out. I got a little budget. I'm like, all right, so this is for music. I'm gonna make T-shirts based on the music, and I'm gonna make posters based on the shirts and everything together.
That's cool.
And then I'm like, all right, well, okay, say I invest $200 or $300, whatever it is. Like, how much can I get back?
I've been very interested
and,
in T-shirt printing and
Yeah.
merch creation and stuff.
Yeah, and people appreciate that, and like that's just a whole other avenue. Say you make, I don't know, like we're all struggling to be our own kind of artist, and every avenue that we open up for ourselves in the vein of being an artist is gonna like lead to your own personal success, I guess. So. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Cool.
That's so cool. Also, I was gonna say something. Oh, Fridays, the first Friday of every month, Bandcamp Friday is back. So if you guys releasing anything on Bandcamp, remember that to hype up everybody by telling them that.
Huge portion of my music that I am not capitalizing on. I need to get onto Bandcamp. I need to get a whole lot more music out because I write a lot. I just don't release a lot.
Get on a calendar, and I mean you have a team. There's a team, and everybody wants to do better. So that's what we're here for.
Barry, you gonna send out any musical babies out into the world?
Maybe. I have at least 2, maybe 3 that I'm going to release here pretty soon. And then the last show I did at the El Paso Brewing Company, I did a show for So Far. And
that's cool.
I had a lot of people, interested in buying my recordings, my easel recordings. And right now I only have a few easel-specific recordings, so I'm thinking I need to record a whole album of easel pieces because people
Hell
seem to
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be working on that as well.
Bandcamp
that would
and
be cool.
iTunes.
Yeah.
Bandcamp and iTunes, I think that will work really
Or
well.
vinyl.
Or
Yeah.
vinyl.
Yeah, I'd like to
I've
do
been
vinyl
saying
as
that
well.
for a while.
Yeah.
Like vinyl is something they'll pick that up.
Somebody
Yeah.
would, yeah. Some
Yeah.
like
No,
Buchla all vinyl.
Yeah, vinyl is cool.
Like it's just like a cool collector piece. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be very cool. It's
Well,
like historical.
the interesting thing about vinyl, what I would like to do, but I know it'd be crazy expensive, probably, is do a vinyl piece, but also have the sleeve with all the information and pictures, because that's what's cool about vinyl. You know, not just the record, but all the, you know, opening it up and seeing all of the stuff that's on it. The
I know a
artwork.
guy that could help you with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I may have to do that because vinyl is cool. I have lots of vinyl because of that. That's a big
Cool.
reason.
I always kind of
yeah.
wanted to do like printouts and like informational booklets and stuff like that for Beanalog, which would be really cool.
We had a newsletter at some point.
Yeah.
And what do you call it? It was cool. But man, there's so many, like I wanted to do it right. And man,
It's hard to do.
It's hard to do because like you got to write stories for it and you got to
Little
like
interviews
be
and,
totally
like-
into it.
Yeah.
And like if you're busy doing
Everything
one or
else.
two things, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, my life consists of making pizza for money, and
Jean-Luc
so good.
is killing it at
And-
Marco's Pizza. And
yeah,
you
I'm
can-
killing myself at Marco's Pizza.
Aw.
My soul.
And if you're listening to this, you're invited to
should show
Jean-Luc's
up and
pizza
say
party
hi.
at, on
Stop me from ending everything.
So join him September 11th, 50%.
50%
Hey,
off.
I should get pizza for when I play. I should make it a pizza party.
That would be cool. Except, do I have to buy pizzas for that?
Well,
I'll get a discount
yeah.
for sure.
And then I mean, yeah, that would be cool. Well, yeah. So we're gonna call it. We're gonna say bye.
Call it what?
No, wait.
We're gonna call it
Call it
We
Beanalog.
were discussing
Beanalog.
a marketing idea for Luisa's mixes.
Yeah.
Oh
and
yeah.
Tell them what the
But
idea is.
It's not. It's
Release
not,
it on
it's
Game
not
Boy
a-
Advanced.
It's not a. It's not. It's not. It's not there yet. It still needs a few. I mean, trying to be the bootleg queen, but
Only on VHS tape you can listen to
Yes.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
cassettes.
SD card.
But yeah, so this is Luisa.
Barry.
Ray.
Luke.
And you were listening to the third episode of Beanalog with Beanalog, here recorded live in El Paso, Texas.
Sweet.
We'll see you next
Go
time.
eat some
Thank you for
Tamarindo and
listening.
pizza and have
Bye-bye.
fun. Yay.